Hello and welcome to the 63rd episode of the Gochuucast. And yeah, at least I think it's the 63rd episode. YouTube Studio wouldn't know.
I just checked. Yeah,
Okay.
it is.
I was also.
It's no longer allegedly episode 63. It actually is episode 63.
Yeah.
And today we will be starting, kind of looking over, like technically a seasonal discussion about. We're not going to talk about. Well, I guess we kind of are. Mushoku Tensei has stirred controversy, not in the way that it usually does, but it's actually within the fandom. There's, I guess, two sides to the coin. There is the side that believes it has taken a big hit in terms of production value and other things, and then there's also the side that believes pretty much nothing has changed. But we're going to be looking a little bit at a Twitter thread by the user Namaru, who also CEO of Tanmoshi. You maybe see, if you do any sort of anime Twitter or whatever, you've probably seen their episode threads or something floating around. They're a good follow. However, we're going to be using their Twitter thread explaining kind of what went down with Mushoku and why this little infight in the fandom even exists. And we'll be giving our own takes on it, I guess. But, man, I hit the mute button on Discord to mute my cough. My dumbass, I don't have like a bind for my, what's it called, so...
You don't have a bind? I have a bind.
Well, I have a bind for Discord. I don't have a bind for OBS.
Oh, so we didn't hear it.
You didn't hear the cough, but the viewers just heard a lovely little...
You know what?
I understand.
They can't catch anything, so it's okay.
It's like
That's
the
the
one
other thing
problem
I
with
was
this
gonna
mic
say.
is it just picks up so much more. I can't cough in peace.
But yeah, I've heard very little in terms of specifics with the Mushoku stuff, but I have heard the rumblings.
I've read the Twitter comments.
I've
emotional.
definitely seen the people saying that Mushoku has been ruined by lollies.
Okay,
And
is
so-
there a comparison like with the animation? Like,
So, no. Well, maybe. There probably is one. It's definitely going to be more difficult for you since you haven't, like, watched it. If you look at the thread and you try and look at, like, the two pictures of Mushoku specifically, you can definitely see, like, in these key visuals that the character designs are, like, obviously they're similar, but there is a bit of, like, difference in detail.
yeah, for sure. It's kind of hard to tell because of the resolution of the picture, but yeah, no, I definitely agree. Yeah, there's a difference in detail for sure.
Yeah.
I also so I've only watched the first two episodes, so I can't speak to episode
See
3.
your
Yeah,
next
they're yeah.
But
Episode 3 has been like the big one.
has episode 3 been like the one?
Or I guess
That might-
episode 2. I guess since the other one's episode 0. I don't know. That whole thing is goofy, but
I haven't noticed a huge difference personally, but also I feel like the first two episodes for me didn't have anything pop off worthier. You know what I mean? Because when I think of the good animation moments in season 1, there's specific moments where it's just oh, animation popped off, at least to me. And I don't think we've had a moment that felt like it needed that to me yet.
well, it's not even. It's I think one of the big things is more the consistency in it, and also it's gonna be difficult since you haven't seen the latest episode, because that's one that sparked probably the most discussion, because there were definitely moments where you could see the animation is good, but then there are also more choppy bits. My personal gripes haven't more been with the way things are animated or anything, but the direction side more than anything. I thought the first two were fine. I haven't read the material either, so it's not it's difficult for me to say. I could look at Angel Next Door direction and be like, yeah, this was dog shit. But then looking here, I have the 7 novels on my shelf. I haven't read any of them though, so I can't exactly tell. But
My understanding is that the adaptation speed's kind of weird too, but that's a lesser issue to what most of this is talking about. It's just I also understand a lot of readers have said, yeah, the pace is really weird for this season so far.
I've seen both. Yeah, it's fine. It's just, Volume 7 isn't that important. They'll be focusing on the good stuff in 7 or 8 and 9. But I've also seen people say, like, oh, this could have been longer. I have no fucking clue. And I have no take on it because I haven't read it. So I can't really speak to the source material. I will say, I mean, I've seen people say things about every episode, but people will do that no matter what. But I think especially for me as an anime only, I can see what people are talking about in the most recent episode, most specifically, because it felt very disjointed at times. Obviously, I'm paying more attention to how things are written and anything else. Like, even the animation was more, like, a bit spotty. Like, I watched the episode and I'm like, yeah, I can, like, see some bits that aren't, like, fantastic, but it's still better than most shows these days.
Yeah.
And I think the general art direction's fine. But for me, the direction was definitely the big thing. I'm not going to say too much, but there are definitely points where it's jumping around a bit, and then, man, it's just, it doesn't feel, I saw one tweet saying it doesn't feel like it has, like, directional intent through the episode, and I can agree with that. It's very jumpy, especially with time. It does not do a very good job of differentiating when certain things are happening. Like, you get the idea when the episode's happening, but it'll be like one moment and boom, snap fingers, it's the next day, and something's already happening. It felt very speedrunny for the content. And I've seen even like the manga version have a fair bit more detail. Like, there is an action piece within the episode that just kind of like comes out of fucking nowhere, and you don't really know what's happening, and it doesn't really ever get explained because it just kind of like moves past it instead of showing anything. And I doubt it was particularly important, but when you're trying to go through an episode, it helps to have as much as possible to, you know, be like a marker, I guess, in terms of flow.
Well, it's interesting because when we were talking about the pacing, you had mentioned readers not saying that the pace was good for Volume 7, but just being like, who cares about Volume 7? Which is kind of like a funny subtake with this, where it's like...
Well, it's not exactly like who cares, but it's more like, you know, they're not like... it's alright that they're not as focused because they're going to focus more on these. It's like... I don't know if it's like copium
exactly
or...
how this is going, where it's content they need to cover because it's important, but also they're trying to squeeze in the content.
Yeah, but I guess more importantly, we have the Twitter thread open. So the reason this is happening with Mushoku Tensei, that there's this big drop between season 1 and 2, is that there are a lot of staff changes that occurred between season 1 and 2. And for any anime, it's not particularly easy to keep all of your staff, obviously, because maybe they want to go work on a different project or something to that, like something of that matter.
Everything I know about this sounds, when I look through the article and hear about people leaving and stuff like that, if I'm totally honest, it sounds incredibly normal to me.
Yeah, see, that's the thing.
I
think it sounds normal, but I think the thing that they highlight here is that there's just like specific to this Mushoku, it feels like it's heavily reliant on freelancers, and I assume it says contracts, with only a slight amount of in-house talent cultivated, which I agree with you. Like, from my perspective, that seems normal. Like, I feel like we've talked about this multiple times, where it's just like they, animators and people who work at different parts of the shows in general are like contracted to work, for that specific show. But it seems like the lack of in-house talent probably compromises the consistency. Which I think is
it's a little bit of a bigger deal because the studio was essentially made for Mushoku.
Yeah.
And so it's
probably to a higher degree.
It's a little different. Yeah, exactly. It's a little different still in terms of like amount of talent moving. And that's where I get it. But also I read through some of this and some of the complaints people have with like staff leaving and stuff like that, and I'm like, yeah, that's how it works.
Yeah.
The difference isn't just staff leave; it's more looking at who is leaving. Yeah. There are a lot of key staff that are going. So the biggest one that people are the biggest two, really, I guess, is the animation producer went over to work on Onimai from the same studio, because I mean you can't really just work on one anime or else you're gonna put yourself in a bit of a bind, studio bind anyway. But also the director, also Onimai also apparently has the character designer. That's where he went. So you have a few very big positions taken by Onimai, and the director.
The director one. That would be the one.
Yeah, he went over to Idolmaster because apparently his dream was to work on Idolmaster, which unexpected dream, but he got his wish. And from what I've seen, like I've seen clips of that the fucking Idolmaster that he did, and I mean,
U-149 is very good.
Yeah, like visually seems pretty like incredible at times. Not that I've seen it, maybe one day. But
I have more interest in other Idolmaster series than U-149, but it has been very good and very well received.
Yeah, Idolmaster is more of like a niche market, at least like in the West anyway. Much more popular in Japan, but basically, like, you lose your director to Psy Games, offering him probably a big bag because they have money from Gacha.
As they do.
Yeah, they have big money, and he wanted to work. He wanted to direct an Idolmaster, and so he got his wish, and he did a good job there. But what had to happen, obviously, is someone else had to step up, and Mushoku probably got lucky with the assistant director being the one to step into the helm, so it didn't like entirely lose all of its flair and passion behind it. But something that I feel like people don't know as much about is kind of like the job of these like bigger seats. The animation producer, it's not like a title you look at and you know exactly what it does just based on like when you hear engineer of like maybe like a fucking, I don't know, mechanical engineer, you generally get the idea. But you hear animation producer and you wonder what they do. But producer's job is basically to find money to do something. So like the animation producer is probably looking to find, like they'll have connections and like, hey, we have this anime called Mushoku Tensei. Do you want to come work on this? And so the original animation producer is much more experienced, and so they're obviously going to have more context. The guy who replaced him, as it says in the thread here, not quite as much experience and much more limited context, and so that's when you start to get a little bit more cope, because you're not able to as easily gather the freelance talent that you need to bring in.
It's also like director changes are big because switching directors isn't just a matter of skill, regardless. Even if it was like, oh, we got another really highly touted experienced director, like all directors kind of have their own almost personality to a lot of the direction that they take shows. And so like,
I mean,
I don't know.
You're losing the direction. That's the biggest part. Yeah,
exactly. So like, I do understand the idea that season 2 so far feels just different from season 1, regardless of whether someone likes it, hates it. Feels like it's just more Mushoku. There definitely is a different feeling to it.
Yeah, it's not. It is a downgrade. Like, whether people want to admit that or not, it's fine. And not that it's like, I don't think it's a world-ending down. Like, some people doom this really hard. I don't think it is fine. It is a better adaptation than most anime could ever hope to have. But I do think it's worth talking about. I'm not like novel reader like Copium Imagine or anything. I haven't read it. So
yeah. Also, I didn't know that Okamoto was the director for Gamers.
Fucking Gamers, dude. Anyway, but
how do you go from Gamers to Mushoku Tensei season?
I mean,
season 1.
You can be tasked to work on a lot of different projects.
You can direct whoever the fuck. If someone's offering.
No, I think it's an interesting discussion, mostly because like I think it's very evident from the Twitter thread that like a lot of people just don't know how
it works.
Yeah, how it works, which is fair, I guess. I mean, it's not like not like you watch anime and they give you a preview of like the behind the scenes or anything like that. It's fine. But
I mean, the thing is, it's not like a like I feel like people think of this as like sports contracts or something, where it's like
yeah,
I go find my guy and I give him 3 years, 20
yeah,
million to
just like a
work on
employment. Yeah,
yeah
normal.
to work on all of Mushoku. That's
Yeah,
not how it works. It's
yeah. A lot of it's contracted
very
freelance.
it's very season based. I
Yeah,
give you money to do one season. We do the season. You go on and work the rest of your career because it's better for the studio to be working with much higher end freelancers who are not going to be committing to a single studio than it is for them to try and have only in-house talent.
yeah. I think
Realistically, the best of the best are not going to just sign on to your studio for 3 years, 20 million and do every show that you do.
no, yeah, I agree. And also, like, I think just knowing this, you kind of have to have some level of expectation that, like, from one season to the next, things might change. I think the only thing is just like, I mean, obviously, if the quality itself decreases a ton or the direction changes like an incredible amount, then yeah, I mean, people are going to be disappointed. But it seems like this is just like a slight change, right? So I don't know. That just to me is like something expected. Like if you understand the industry and you understand how it works, I don't think anyone's gonna. I don't think you should be like surprised about
Yeah,
it.
I don't.
That's all.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I don't think people. Oh fuck,
Yeah.
my mic's muted. I don't think people should pay attention as much to. Why the fuck is my? Okay, there we go. Never mind. All right. Fucking dual monitor shit being weird. Anyway, I don't think people should be paying as much attention to the production side of things as they should. Like, I think the most recent episode, like I said, the direction, if anything, was in pacing was more concerning than any sort of artwork type of thing. It's just, yeah, people getting mad at the wrong thing because people want to use their eyes and not their head. I guess I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
to
mean,
me, everything I've seen screams more. The problem for a lot of people is the director change more so than most of the other losses. You can call them downgrades because they are probably a little bit, but like the animation's been fine, even if it's a little different, and it's something that people prefer less. Like to me, from most of the complaints I've heard, the big thing is just the direction more than any of the other spots that have left.
Yeah, and there's been talks of just general production issues. I mean, part of that probably has to do with the amount of people that left, especially the important people.
But are they like real talks from the studio, or is it people just saying things?
So
You know what I
apparently,
mean?
episode 0 was not intended to air first. So
Okay.
the idea is that it's like, oh fuck, we need a little more time here. We have episode 0 going good enough. Here, have this. Which I thought, like, episode 0 doesn't ever, I don't feel like it ever would have fit into anywhere anyway. I mean, maybe it would have. I don't even know the novels or anything.
I'm not sure off what information episode 0 wasn't supposed to come first.
Yeah,
I
I
don't
think it was fine to come
disbelieve it.
first.
Yeah, I don't disbelieve it, but are people saying that because it shows up later in the novels? Because that's a direction choice.
I don't know
more
if it
than
was that. I want to say maybe leakers said something, but I can't remember. I don't know.
that would be
I'm
fair.
not
If
like,
a leaker said they changed the production schedule because of something like that, then that to me is credible. But and that it probably is more likely something like that. I just I don't know. That sounds like a pretty big thing to say that it was a mistake, and then I think of the episode content. I'm like, I don't know. I felt like that was a pretty good way to start the
well, not
season.
really a mistake, but it's more like an episode. It's like a plug and play. You can put it wherever. I mean,
Yeah.
you don't want to put it in the middle of the season or anything. But
That's why
it's
starting.
inconsequential.
Yeah, I liked starting with it because it gave us kind of this little mini side story for a character that we really haven't seen in a while. To at least give us an idea of how she's going to connect back.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's a side point because whether it was intentional or just something that happened because of bad production, I thought it was a pretty good choice. Some other people probably thought it was a terrible choice. That could be debated for a lot of time.
But yeah, Mushoku Tensei season 2, blame lollies.
Yeah,
The heck?
that
Okay,
is
good.
that is essentially the gist of it. Is that Mushoku season 2 was ruined by the lollies.
Got it. Understandable. Um.
I
Oh,
need to watch this
Oh,
episode
go ahead.
now though because I
You want
I
you want to
see
you want to hyper
some of
analyze it now? You want to hyper analyze it and write a
well
Twitter thread?
I see some of the things from the episode 0 and episode 1,
Yeah.
but not nearly as pronounced to me. And so I feel like if I watch episode 2, I might have a more complete take than where I'm like, now I understand, or oh, I think it's a little over dramatized.
You might
But
see some stuff with the animation, not as much, but I think pay attention more to how everything is just placed in the episode, like flow-wise, and you'll get what
yeah,
I'm saying.
which I mean, that's one of the things that I comment about in a lot of things. So, in fact, we were just talking earlier about Jujutsu Kaisen and how it kind of is a little jumpy as just like a series.
Anyway.
I had something. I was like browsing my anime list, like the news and stuff like that earlier, and like this is just like the statistician inside me that's like trying to find patterns or whatever. I don't know, some nerd stuff, but I'm curious now. I guess like over time, because the thing I noticed was like there were a few like light novels being adapted into anime, and that's kind of always been there, right? But I'm curious, like over time, like what percentage of like shows being released in a given season, I guess, were like anime originals versus ones adapted from manga and ones adapted from light novels? Like, I'm curious if how much that's like changed over time. I don't know if you guys have like whether it's like more popular now to like adapt from light novels or things like that, or like if certain forms of media become more popular, or more likely to get adapted into anime. That's something I was just curious about because I feel like I don't know. I feel like I noticed like quite a few light novels recently getting adapted. I don't know if that's just like a recent thing.
I don't know if
I
it's
mean,
true
I
that
think they're more pronounced now than they
yeah,
have been. I don't know when exactly the first like light novel was adapted or anything.
Yeah,
I would imagine more so manga was adapted because it's much easier to do, obviously, because you have a template there for character design you have in general for the most part with light novels. But the big thing with light novels is you have a world that's being described, and you ain't got jack shit. You got a few pictures in there, maybe.
Yeah.
But for the most part, you have to craft everything from scratch. But with manga, you're like, okay, here's the panel. We just got to connect these bitches, and we'll be good.
Right.
So I mean, I don't know exactly when the first one was. I feel like I've heard someone say that it was Haruhi that was first, but
it's Haruhi. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
but I don't know. I might be talking my
I
ass.
don't know.
It might have been first to do something else.
And that was what 2000.
It's like 2006, I want to say,
Yeah, that sounds right.
or
Yeah.
was it 2009?
I mean, yeah, it's obviously it says 2009.
Oh, it was like multiple. Yeah,
Oh, no,
okay.
I'm thinking of
The
the- yeah, I'm
original,
thinking
the original was 2006. Yeah.
Yeah, 2006. Yeah, you're right. Yeah,
So
I mean, I don't know if it was the first. I mean, it might have been the first one. Actually, I believe you. But
I
yeah,
definitely think right now it at least feels like we're in an age of light novel adaptations.
yeah, that's what I
Like
just felt like it.
I feel like it's at a point where to me at least it feels almost 50-50 whether something is based off a light novel or a manga. But I also don't know because I didn't really grow up watching anime or paying attention to that when I did start watching anime. So it could have always been that way. It could have just been that, maybe a lot of the light novels didn't get as much attention. Like there's a lot of factors that could lead to that just being a misperception. But I definitely agree with you that I feel like
Yeah,
more light novels are being adapted now than they used to be.
that's why
Okay.
I'm curious about the numbers.
Just had a
so.
genius idea. What if I go on to AnyList and I type in source light novel and I just go through the years?
I mean,
yeah,
that's
that would work.
definitely viable.
Haruhi was definitely not the first. It was definitely not. Okay, how far back do I gotta go to find the first?
I mean, I'm
Let's-
just gonna sort them all by release.
okay, there's nothing in 80. 81. Okay, I think we're thinking maybe 85 might end up being the
Cooking with Gas.
I'm like getting there because there's like nothing all the way back here, but there was something in 1985. Vampire Hunter D was a movie made in 1985 that was based on a light novel that is still okay. Hold on. So it's saying source light novel and source manga. Which one? Now I don't know which came first. Let me look here. The light novel started in 1983. Apparently. Okay, no. The manga is an adaptation
of the
light novel. Okay. Yeah, I don't. And the manga didn't start until 2007. So yeah, it was a light novel originally. Vampire Hunter D.
Okay.
Yeah, I wonder. I guess like,
go ahead. As I look through, one of the things also kind of makes me hesitate on the take of more light novels being adapted now is I feel like most of the light novels being adapted now are fairly new.
Yeah,
which makes sense.
That's another thing. Like, what if like just the number of light novels? Well, I guess you'd have to compare like number versus like proportion, but like the number of light novels has just increased. Like over the past 10 years, like maybe light novels.
It's a very competitive field.
Yeah,
there's a reason why you see. Like we're talking about, like these long ass titles are because of how competitive it is. Because you gotta have your story blurb on the front of your book and not the back. Because people got time to pick that shit up.
Yeah.
They want to see. You gotta tell what's happening immediately from the get go.
Yeah, it's but you get what I'm saying, because I feel like if there was just a lack of light novels being adapted for a long time, we would be seeing like these gem like old novels being adapted
True.
Which I guess there's some degree like Mushoku probably falls into that realm. When did the light novel for Mushoku start?
It was more relatively, I would say relatively recently. I mean, the thing with Mushoku though is also a web novel before that. I don't know when the web novel started, but
12 web novels are an entire different can of worms.
Light novel says 2014. So.
But yeah, so I feel you, and I have the same vibes, but it would take like a deep dive.
Yeah,
it'd be really interesting, but I don't have like the means to do like that.
No, I don't either. I don't have that time. But I was just curious, and also like you can. I mean, the number of anime obviously has increased over time, I think, just like the number of anime originals. Like I don't know if that's just like a smaller proportion of the number of anime that's a smaller proportion of the anime that's being released today, I guess, because more of it's been taken over by light novel adaptations.
I mean, there's definitely less less originals than anything else being made.
Yeah.
Like it's gonna be manga or light novel for the most part.
There's also
and with how many anime do get made,
we talked about this before too. Originals also have been kind of in a rut. I think we talked about this around when Licorice Recoil was being really popular. But it was before that, there was this really big run of like pretty subpar originals.
Mm-hmm.
And so for a bit, people really backed away from it because why make an original that people are just not going to like when I could just adapt this series that already has a dedicated fan base?
Yeah, true. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I wouldn't say like people are backing away. There are definitely less good originals than there are like, you know, things people, because I think this year, looking at just annual lists, the top original
people have gotten back to like giving originals a real good shot.
But the best original this year that is released in terms of score is Buddy Daddies, and then like right behind that is Witch of Mercury Gundam Season 2. Which I was like get surprised when I see the scores for these, because people seem to like fucking adore this anime, but then like the scores never particularly that like reflect that. Because like they're both under 80%. Like both suck at 79%. I'm a little surprised by that.
I think also with stuff like that, Witch of Mercury is a good example because it's kind of a niche show in general. You know, anytime you take Gundam, that's already niche. It's Yuri, which is also niche, even though it shouldn't be. but beside the point. Anytime you have those niche things, there's gonna be a very outspoken population for it,
Right.
and then a lot of people that just think it exists.
Yeah, that's true. That's fair. Yeah. I guess yeah, I think web novel adaptations obviously is like very new. So
Well, I mean, people don't really adapt web novels. Web
Exactly.
novels get no people don't adapt web novels. It'll be like a
At
web
all.
novel gets adapted into a light novel, which gets
Light
adapted
novel, and then it goes. Yeah, fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
like
The problem is most of the time when you adapt a light novel, the idea is that it's going to increase sales for the light novel, but web novels don't
True.
have that like
Yeah.
extra
Okay. That's fair.
monetary
Yeah.
reasoning behind them. So it's a lot less common to convince a studio or anyone to adapt a web novel because there's not too much monetary like
Right.
top end increase, because the main thing with most of these anime is not to make a ton of money from the anime. It's to make a okay amount of money from the anime and then make a lot of money from the novels.
Yeah.
Like
That makes sense.
bumping up
yeah,
sales.
I'm looking through AniList right now just by like source web novel, and it's a lot of like the Chinese stuff that gets web novel adaptations. But the number one thing, actually, I Want to Eat Your Pancreas is the top rated. At least I think it's top rated. I don't know what it was sorted by, probably by score. It was the top rated web novel, which it also has a manga adaptation. I actually have the novel on my shelf. It says web novel. I don't know if it's like actually a web novel or some not. It probably a web novel, I guess. And then got turned into got a print and a manga. But
Gotcha. Well, it'd be interesting to see how the trend changes over the next 10 years or whatever. Because I mean, compared to 10 years ago,
yeah,
light novels a lot more popular.
I feel like maybe we start to see. Surely at some point, isekai has to be on its way out. Surely,
It's eternal, bro.
surely
I mean, you would
within
think
the
so,
next
but,
10
like,
years.
Isekai is like the core of it. Like the way I think of it is like a lot of people enjoy reading these series for like escapist reasons, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
Fantasy.
cool world that I haven't experienced. I mean, this is why I love all those genres, is because I like to see these new worlds that are created and kind of experience and explore that idea. And so it's like, I don't know, because on one hand, isekai should eventually just be a fad that dies down, because realistically, most of them are just kind of average and they're all like about the same. But it's also such like a spammable genre because everyone loves escapism into new worlds, and especially worlds like magic and swordplay and stuff like that. Like that sells, and it is easy to consume. And I don't know if just saying I don't think a lot of isekai are above the mean is enough for me to also say that it's going to slow down, because I almost feel like it's too.
I mean, it's just fantasy. Like it's a form of fantasy, right? Like even if isekai, as we know it or whatever, like doesn't exist in 20 years, it'll be some other concept, you know. Fantasy
And
is a
I guess
genre that
that's
will
kind
always
of
exist.
yeah. I guess that's kind of the answer. Is we had fantasy, now we have isekai fantasy. What would be the next progression?
I don't know. Don't ask
And
me.
that's
I
the
could
thing.
tell you anything about literary
Hopefully, good
trends.
stories. That would be a cool trend.
Yeah. No, I think that genre will still exist.
I just think at the end of the day, like things that are easy to consume will keep being consumed.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
it sells, right?
people are monkeys at the end of the day.
Yeah.
Why we have 10 quintillion Disney live action remakes being made.
Yep.
Like,
And
oh boy, it's
still
the same
paying
story again, but worse. They'll go see it and give Disney $1 billion. But anyway, I say that as I watch all these stupid isekais, but yeah, I don't know. I'd rather watch the next. I don't know, dude. Isekai is like anime's Marvel.
That's That's a
They'll just
comparison.
shit out different. Actually, you know what? No, that's disrespectful to isekai. Anyway,
Oh, I thought you were gonna say it's disrespectful to Marvel. But...
no. See, even with isekai, they're all the same. Like, you know, in terms of like Marvel all has superheroes, isekai is all isekai, but at least isekai are all different in some capacity.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like every Marvel movie you watch is like for the most part the same.
Okay.
I don't know. Anyway, that's
Yeah.
my take. I don't care about superhero movies that much, but
Yeah.
Superhero movies are a fun example because it's obviously very different trend, but it's
Yeah.
kind of a similar thing with easy monkey thing to consume, extremely popular at its
Yeah.
peak. Now it's kind of in a phase where it's still very popular, but it feels like it's dying down a little bit.
it's definitely died down more than what it was. Like, I don't think like Marvel could literally like shit out anything probably like pre-Endgame and they'd be fine.
Yeah.
But now it's like they don't really
it's
have a whole
post-Endgame.
lot.
It was like a really easy a really easy exit point for people to watch Endgame and be like, all right, I'm free. My Marvel fandom is like easy to put on pause now.
I feel like the most difficult thing there, like one of the big new things with like Western media is making TV shows to like two movie franchises. But the thing with the MCU is that they're tying in those shows to their movies. And nobody gonna sit down to watch 10. There's 10 billion different things you watch to understand the story. And I feel like before Endgame, you could literally skip whatever the fuck movie as long as you like seen like the Avengers films, you'll probably be fine.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, and even then, it was probably much easier to like go on YouTube and be like, all right, here, what do I need to know before I go into this? But now it's like, you know, those videos that were maybe like 10 minutes long before are probably like 10 hours now because they're 20 quadrillion different TV shows and movies that you all need to watch. I don't know. I think what's even more difficult than that is the comic book industry, for at least with superheroes, because Jesus Christ, they'll be talking about like, oh yeah, like Spider-Man dies isn't a fucking, what's it called, a spoiler, because you know like which Spider-Man died. There's like 10 quintillion different Spider-Mans, and it's like, I don't know how. I saw a tweet and I am appalled that it had as many likes as it did, because I don't agree with it in any capacity. It was about Across the Spider-Verse, which I went to go see recently, despite having just gone on a rant again about superhero movies. However, this was actually a good movie, because it wasn't a Marvel movie. Anyway, so, I mean, it was a great movie, but I saw a tweet that said, you know, on Twitter there has been like a light trend somewhat recently that's been like, name something you actually hate about this really good thing. And this person's response was, I'm sad that this is people's like entry point into like this multiverse thing. And they're like, people shouldn't have their first experience of like Peter 1999 be from this movie. And I'm like, what? Like, why are there 1,000 of them? And why?
Yeah.
And like, you can't expect me to read the 15 quintillionth different version of Spider-Man to understand anything. I don't want to read 10 different versions of the same character. I want a story to follow that makes sense and I can grasp onto and see how it, if it is connected to anything else, how does it connect, instead of like, oh, literally nothing that happens in this matters because there, I don't know, there's just another Spider-Man I could go read if I don't like this one. It just seems dumb to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Superhero movies is like one thing that's like, I feel like we said this about Pokemon, where it's like it used to be like a kid's thing, but now it's like cool to do. I don't know, like cool, but like a lot of adults like play Pokemon and collect the cards and stuff like that. Superhero movies is like one thing as a kid, like a lot of people were interested in, and it still kind of like surprises me that like a lot of adults are interested in it. Like, I guess
I think it might be the opposite. Like, I think superhero movies were fine for like an everyone thing for a while, but I think now the kid market is the focus, because that's why all these Marvel movies feel the same, because they all have the same like dog shit quippy dialogue. Every character feels the same.
Yeah,
they
I
all
just
have
remember
to make
like
jokes.
in that stretch where like the Avengers was really popular, and I saw a couple of these superhero movies in theaters. Like I saw adults, like 40, 50-year-old people, like a good amount. So maybe it's partially nostalgia at the time, but yeah, might have shifted now. But
I mean, there's still levels of interest. Like, I think anything like Endgame before, you could definitely go as an adult and still enjoy. But
Of
now,
course.
and not that you can't enjoy these newer movies, but they're definitely more catered towards a younger audience
Sure,
because of how they're written. I wish everything would stop being a comedy.
I actually do agree with this. As much as I love comedies, this is one of the most cringe things, especially about the Marvel universe. It's just the fact that everything has to have like the funny quips and stuff like that. And sometimes they hit, but a lot of times I'm just kind of like, can we not this time though?
Yeah, like I think I didn't see the new Thor movie, but that was like everyone's big complaint. It's like, what the fuck does this movie want to be? Because there'll be times where it's like super serious, but immediately like that serious moment might be like intercut by like some stupid comedy. And people like the like no one really liked the first two Thor movies, but everyone really liked the third one, which was much more comedic. But it was kind of like a reimagining of Thor, and the movie wasn't particularly serious, but this newer one had like serious undertones to it, but it was still like it was still the hyper comedic thing. I think the Thor movies might have been like kind of the downfall because you have how successful it was. Oh, we can take everything and just make it a comedy. The kids love it. I don't know. Kids will watch fucking anything you put in front of them as long as there's colors. So I don't know why they're so desperate to have this type of writing style.
I don't know. Maybe it's easier for them. Who knows?
I mean, it probably is easier to write a bad joke than to write an intelligent story.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah, absolutely is easier. And to be honest, in like the grand scheme, it probably sells better.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know.
To start buying merch.
I can't. I don't know. I just can't wait for people to just realize that they have the power to make things not shit by just not going to the shit things, but no one ever does. I don't know, because I don't want to call people. I mean, I've already said people are monkeys in this podcast. I don't want to call people like brainless, like consumers or anything like that. Because I mean, there are people who genuinely enjoy this stuff. But
I mean, if they enjoy it, they enjoy it, right?
If you like it, you like it. I'm still gonna call it shit, and I wish it would change. I think there's definitely a place for comedies. Don't get me wrong. Just not every single movie needs to be like that. And I don't know. I think maybe that's why people are like Oppenheimer's coming out tomorrow as of recording this.
And Barbie.
Yes. It's been a very interesting trend.
I know someone who's going to see both the same day, so good on them.
A lot of people are doing that. My friends and I want to go see Oppenheimer. I don't care about the Barbie movie.
Barbie's great.
But with the Barbie, like, why are people so hyped about the fucking Barbie movie? How does that? Someone give their marketing team a fucking pay raise, whatever the fuck they asked for, because
it came out of nowhere and all of a sudden,
I literally,
like a huge thing.
I did not know this movie was in production, and now it's like everywhere.
In New York, I saw so many like billboards of Barbie and Oppenheimer. Like both, like,
I saw a lot of Oppenheimer stuff when we were in LA.
Yeah,
are they like marketing together, or
it just
what's the
happened that way? It's because Twitter saw this thing. It's like, okay, so we have Barbie, you know, this like pink color, like fun little film, and then we have Oppenheimer, where they're gonna drop a fucking nuke, and so it's just it memed together well.
Happened. Yeah, that's fair. I just know that all of a sudden, not only was I seeing Barbie and Oppenheimer show up, but I was seeing them show up together. And I was like, this feels really random, but I'm down because it sounds like a funny way to market, or even just to talk about them. Because obviously coming out around the same time, stuff like that, but it was just funny. I don't know why these two fuck with each other.
Yeah, I saw that apparently Amy Schumer was supposed to be instead of Margot Robbie or whatever, was supposed to be Barbie, and they dodged a fucking bullet on that one. Holy shit!
That's
talk about bad comedy. Yeah, definitely dodged a bullet there. What the fuck do you even make a Barbie movie about? I feel like this is like think of like maybe I don't know, like a shonen movie. It's just a slice of life filler with Barbie. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I assume it is.
I don't know. It's probably gonna be like dumb fun, and if people like it, they like it. I don't know. I'm not gonna go see it though.
I'm definitely not gonna watch it.
Yeah, it's supposed to be them like going into the real world, like Barbie and Ken as dolls, like interacting with humans.
So it's
Yeah,
like
I knew that
Toy
much, but
Story.
Isekai, bro.
it's an isekai. Yeah,
I mean, kind of.
Yeah, sounds like an
yeah,
isekai.
sounds like an
Actually,
isekai.
that's actually literally it. But yeah.
I saw
It is-
another tweet that was like Christopher Nolan didn't use any like it didn't use any like CGI or some shit in uh Oppenheimer. And everyone in the comments like, oh my god, they're dropping a real nuke.
Oh my god, bro! This cast: Will Ferrell, Michael Cera. This is a comedy for sure.
I mean, obviously Barbie it has to be a comedy. Like you can't make a serious story out of Barbie, surely.
Bro.
I mean, yeah.
But yeah, no.
I also feel like, and this is Daniel's point, all American shows are kind of the same formula,
Yeah, that's why I
where
watch anime though.
a certain percentage of comedy is required. Otherwise, it's
There's a
trash.
threshold,
They won't give
a
it a
quota
shot.
of jokes.
Yeah.
A laugh
No,
quota.
but literally, like it sounds like a meme,
Sometimes, yeah. That's how it feels.
and I'm sure it's a meme in terms of like nobody's reading the script and saying, "Oh, you need to, make this funnier."
Mhm.
Well, maybe they are,
Yeah.
but it's still like one of those things where it feels like it has to be like 30% comedy and have at least a couple like really big quips. Otherwise, it just is dead on, pairing.
Yeah, I'm not sure how poorly it performs if it doesn't have those comedic things,
I
but
don't.
maybe that's just
I
a
really
trend.
don't think it makes that much of a difference. It's just the safe way of writing.
Yeah. I guess like if you make someone laugh, they're more likely to like it. Sure. Yeah.
Everyone's a bunch of bitches. I don't know. When like with the we have the writing strike right now. I'm wondering if like it's because they get paid so little, like they don't care as much to like try and write something more profound. I could see that. Like if I'm getting paid like fucking pennies on the dollar, I can barely afford my apartment. I'm not gonna like pour my heart and soul into a script. I'm like, all right, let me like AI generate my next joke.
Yeah, that could be it.
I don't know. It'll be like these strikes right now are pretty crazy. Anime podcast, by the way.
It's
but
related
Strikes right now are a lot, especially for me because I know so many people in the industry, involved with a lot of the strikes and stuff, and who like have things airing now. I have a friend who's a writer for The Witcher and has been, and she had an episode that aired recently that she solo wrote. It was her first like big writing project,
Nice.
and since all the strikes and everything are going on, she was like, it's kind of bittersweet because on one hand, like it's still airing and it's still her project, but on the other hand, she's kind of like not at like the front lines of the project still too.
Right.
yeah, I feel like I don't know. I've seen a lot of like negative stuff about The Witcher. Hopefully your friend has been like too impacted by that. Because there's the whole shit with like I don't know if it was the writers or like the producers who like fucking hated Henry Cavill because of how much he actually cared. I know that was a big thing.
If I'm honest, I don't pay too much attention to any news with any of that.
I see.
I know she really enjoys working on it, so I don't think it's anything that's like
good.
Yeah,
bothering her in any way. Because all I ever really hear is her saying good things about just being able to work on the project.
Yeah, if they're enjoying it, that's good. Because there's definitely like I see a lot of negativity about it. Especially after what happened with Henry Cavill, but we don't need to go into that.
Yeah.
But,
I guess another thing we talked about it last time, but I watched the episodes of the there's only 4 episodes now of that pastry isekai. It's like I guess I don't know. It's just average. I don't know.
Oh, that's crazy! I thought it would have been profound.
Right? I mean, I didn't expect anything great.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, average is harsh. I like the story. I like the story.
I think average is fine.
It's like,
I think
I don't think average is harsh.
Yeah. I'll still watch it. It's interesting.
Like, I watch average if it's like genres that I like.
Yeah. So I'll keep at it.
Shit, I look at seasonals sometimes, and we'll be like, "This is gonna be the most average shit ever." I'm in. When did I do that with this? There was one I distinctly remember. Dreaming Boy is a realist.
Yeah,
that's one.
Need to watch the newest episode, but yeah, I mean, it's a show I watch.
I specifically remember seeing it and being like, this looks like it's gonna be really average, but the main girl is cute. And so I was like,
There you go.
I'll give it a shot because why not?
Yeah.
And yeah, that's how it's been. What hasn't been average is the vending machine anime. That's been fire. Anyway,
Is it actually good?
It's so stupid. It's so damn dumb.
it's it's like the perfect brand of just shit posting.
Honestly, it is like literally a shit post of a series.
Yeah.
It's the thing is,
like, I have fun watching it, but then I'm sitting there like, is this good writing? No,
it's
right?
definitely not, but it's like it does what I expected, and I think that's all I care about.
And that's good, yeah.
Yes.
It wasn't here that we talked about what they did in the second episode, right?
What did they do?
I think no. I think it was.
Yeah. So
I think I mentioned
if anyone
in
cares-
like Weeb chat about what
Yes.
happened, but I didn't
if
like
anyone
say it on here.
cares, if anyone cares about vending machine spoilers, don't listen to this. But surely no one cares. Anyway, so in episode 2, they end up in this situation where like monsters are there and they're in combat and they're in dire straits. And so the fucking vending machine guy comes
So
up with this
dumb.
idea of,
So fucking stupid.
I know how we can beat the monsters, and he summons up a bunch of Coke bottles and then turns into a Mentos dispenser
Nice.
and starts giving them Mentos and has to like. So I have a huge gripe with the show right now about the fact that he doesn't fucking talk.
Well,
I
I
like
like
all?
that.
It's just
No, he can say certain phrases like hello
So
and like
yes.
other Japanese vending machine things, but he has to like communicate in code as best he can.
it's a funny gag, but I don't want it to go on for like the entire season.
I don't think
or
it'll
farther.
go on forever, but I like that he's, while he does have these stupid abilities, he is constrained to being a
That
vending
is
machine.
He is forced to be a vending machine.
Cannot move on his own, and he cannot speak. It's an interesting like holdback to the fact that he can turn into these different vending machines.
Yeah, which is fair.
Have you seen episode 3, by the way?
I have not.
Oh
no.
my god! Holy shit!
Is episode 3?
If I told you what happened in episode 3, you wouldn't believe me.
Yeah.
You want to know?
I will stay unspoiled because I'm probably gonna watch it tomorrow.
Okay.
But anyway,
I'm gonna
the
message
story,
Spat what happens, and you can just get his
Okay.
reaction.
Let's hear it. Let's hear it.
to finish the story while he types that up. Did he get a bunch of Coke and Mentos and then like put the Mentos into the Coke and then just spray fucking Coke at all of the monsters to defeat them? Because I think they were on fire or something like that. So it was like they're putting out the fire, like fucking water hoses. Anyway,
Okay.
it was the silliest shit to ever happen. And I was like, you know what? This show is gonna go for that vibe early. I'm down.
Yeah, so Spat, what do you think
Silly
what
show,
happens in
I guess.
episode 3?
All right, let's see. Oh my god, I'm out. Okay. Yeah, maybe I gotta watch this show.
You're not gonna. Oh my god,
I won't
it's so fucking stupid.
Okay.
Watch
I think
episode
that's
3
what I
as soon as you can, PK. That's all I gotta say.
That's what I liked about the first 2 episodes, that they were so stupid, but it was like clearly going for that, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I messaged Resh, who I'm watching it with, and was like, "Want to watch Vending Machine tonight?"
Yeah, it's
But even if it's not tonight, it'll be tomorrow.
you will see what I had to like pause the thing and just take
To like take it
I had
in.
to lean back in my seat and be like, that just happened. This is where we're going right now. Because they were like having a conversation and he was like, okay, I'll turn into this and fix the thing. And I was like half paying attention or whatever. And then I just look at my screen and I see what a character is holding in their hand. I'm like, no fucking way. That's what I think it is. He did not just turn into that. And by God, he did. They fucking took it out the package. And I'm like, oh my God. It's just, it's something else.
I feel like I can already think about.
It
I
was.
feel like you can't. But anyway, we won't say anything more about
We
it.
won't say
Anyway,
We
anything.
don't want to.
Yeah.
We don't want to spoil it. I guess. What he sent me
forward-
is very interesting, though, for sure.
look forward to the vending machine video if it keeps being so ridiculous.
I'll
And
make one regardless of how like I don't know. I gotta make my Heavenly Delusion
sounds
video first, and then I'll think I might make one for this.
Yeah, it sounds like a funny video. Especially because every week you're probably just gonna get more shit to be like, what the fuck is going on?
Yeah, I could see like Heavenly Delusion video I need to make still. I need to write it still. I might do that tonight, maybe tomorrow. But then maybe Vending Machine after that, just to like have something to start the season with. Yeah, it's something else. Speaking of like leaning into stupid, I watched an anime recently. And by recently, I mean I started episode 1 on the plane back from LA, and then I recently finished binging it. But Sleepy Princess in the Demon Castle.
It was like a year and a half ago or something, right?
Yeah.
It was like 2021 or something, I'm pretty sure. I liked it a lot more than I thought I would. I thought I'd generally enjoy it because, I don't know, we got Inari Minase in a goofy little slice of life cute comedy thing. But I ended up really liking it. It's so... Oh, you'd love the names in this. It's bad. Don't
Yeah,
look at them.
I'm reading Aurora Tsuya Reese came in.
Yeah, the names
What
they
a
get fucking
The
crazy.
rest of them are Japanese, so I think.
Yeah, I mean, they only call her like Suya because that's like it's like their snooze. I like her snooze, I guess. I don't know. So whenever she goes to sleep, she'll say like Suya. But the what the fuck? There's a Tonikaku Kawaii X Maho de Oyasumi collaboration. What? Yeah. Okay. Anyway, I'll look at that in a minute.
That's so random.
That is very random. And a Komi-san one as well. Anyway. But the main premise of this is this princess gets captured by like the demon lord. He's taken to her castle, and obviously she's a prisoner. Her conditions aren't like they're treating her like a whatever, like fine enough, I guess, for like a prisoner, but her conditions aren't great. So she's having trouble sleeping, and that's like quite literally the only thing she can do, kind of. And so her mission is to like just create better conditions for her to sleep in. And at first I'm like, okay, how is this actually going to go down? But it immediately throws away like the prisoner thing, and the demon like castle and stuff. Like, they're not evil at all. And so it just turns into this thing where really honestly the main villain is the main character, because she murders a multitude of demons in this castle to get what she wants. Like, she'll be like, oh, I need to make a new pillow, and they'll be like, there's like these like blanket demons kind of that go around, and she's like, oh, there's material, and so she just takes scissors and fucking like murders them for their material. No one actually dies because like they have like a revival function in the castle, but it's just it leans on its stupidity so hard, and you just see this character who goes from like prisoner to like she may as well be running the place, and like actually like everyone like forms like a bond of sorts to where they're just used to her doing shit. Instead of like, oh my god, the prisoner escaped from her cell, it's like, oh, she's making something to like go to sleep again. I wonder what it'll be. It was fun. I liked it a lot.
Fair enough. I know a lot of our friends have watched it, so
Less than you think, actually.
it's like
I thought it was more, and then I went to see it, and a lot of people are there's a lot of people planning it.
Like,
But
not the
it's
same season as some
me,
other
Lugia, Fami, and then I thought I was following Sam on any list. I guess I'm not. That, or he just doesn't have this on his thing.
Sam does have it. I see him.
Same season as Jujutsu
Am I not
Kaisen,
following him?
that's why.
What the fuck?
Big Beef.
I thought it. Is it the same as his
I'll just send you.
Big Beef LLC?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, okay. I think this is it, surely.
I hope everyone who listens to this episode now goes and follows Sam randomly.
It'd be funny.
That's
like 2 people. I thought I was following him already. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, that's about what I expected, probably. I think I quite literally have too many things on my schedule to consider watching this.
I'm still
I say
chilling
as I
Haikyuu.
always pick up random shit.
Yeah, your
How
problem
is
is
Haikyuu? Are you in season 2 yet?
Me?
what wasn't his plan? Like finish season 1 and then watch the rest of Attack on Titan.
Right.
Oh yeah,
right.
I wasn't
We
able to.
just
I
talked
was
about
watching
the
the
last week. Yeah.
yeah, I was watching the pastry thing, so I'm still not very far in Haikyuu. I do like the what's his name again? Oh my god, the freaking libero guy. What's his name? Nusunoya or what? Something like that.
Yeah, Nishinoya.
Yeah, him. He's my favorite character so far. I like him. He's like how do I describe it? He's
He's one of
very
my favorites.
he's very encouraging, but like in a non-cringe way. I don't know how else to describe it. I like him so far. Yeah, I didn't get very far. I just watched like 3 or 4 episodes or something like that this week. But yeah, it's good. I mean, we'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Fun. You know what's not fun? My fucking Twitter feed, because everyone likes to just post raw manga panels these days, and it's really annoying.
Spoilers.
It could be worse. I keep getting meme Oshinoko panels, but from like chapters I like that that one meme I sent in Weebs, I saw like 5 days before the chapter was posted.
Yeah.
Just recaptioned, and it didn't spoil anything. It was just a panel that someone took and made the captions way worse, but it was still like just randomly. Oh, I've never seen this panel before.
Yeah, no, see, my problem is I'm getting a mix of meme panels and the real panels. I've already been muting accounts for a while, but I've had to unfollow people, and I'm like, holy shit, can we just stop giving attention to the leaks for one? Even the artist for Oshinoko came out and said, guys, what if we didn't pass around leaks? Because it wasn't a problem before. It's literally never been a problem, and the anime blew up, and now it's a huge problem. I mean, these chapters are getting leaked like multiple days in advance. And people have like the spoilers and stuff. It's just, it's so annoying. Like, if you have that stuff, whatever. I don't care if you share it behind like a spoiler. If you're going to spoil something, don't just fucking raw dog it out there. It's so annoying.
I do agree with that. This is a problem I have with the only manga stuff I get on Twitter consistently. Actual spoilers is One Piece, to the point that I can no longer think about avoiding the spoilers for One Piece because I will just receive all of them anyway.
Why does Twitter not have like an actual? Because like there's the sensitive media thing that you can put on. Why is it just not like an actual spoiler tag? Because it would just be so much better than like, obviously like not everything you're throwing in there is actually sensitive media. And I don't know if like the algorithm doesn't like that, and that's why people don't do it. I just wish people would not do that. It's very annoying to see a series that is like, you know, my favorite manga, and then I can't fucking live in peace without potentially getting spoiled. I don't know. Everywhere I go, and it's been worse too. Like not just like the anime was already like a big enough influence, but the shit that's been happening recently that's been memed out of this fucking world. I need this like little phase we're in to just go away. Oh.
You need to follow different accounts.
Well, it's not. It's the For You page as well.
Oh yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
if it was just people I was following, it might be like, all right, well, we'll be muting you for the time being. But no, it's like
it just keeps giving you more.
Yeah, no matter where I go, I can't escape Oshinoko manga spoilers.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, it's rough. That's why light novels are cool. No one spoils light novels. I got back into reading Tomozaki recently because I had novels 8.5 through 10 on my shelf. I just had been letting them rot for a while because I read volume 8 and it really stressed me out at the end because I'm like, depending on how this next volume goes, I like something may happen and it would be very dog shit writing and infuriate me. but then I ended up reading. I read 8.5, which is like side stuff, but then 9 was obviously like the big test. Will I come to be upset with the series for doing something? And it immediately, literally, like within the first chapter, got rid of all my worries, and then immediately became like peak fiction throughout the rest of the novel. It was a really good novel.
I should probably go back and finish season 1 one of these days.
Season 2 is 2024. I don't know if we got like an actual date.
Just the other thing, I do know that season 2 is coming soon.
Sooner than later. Season 2 is January. I don't know how far they're gonna go. My guess is they'll probably do another 3, which means, I mean, season 2 is gonna be really good based on its content. Season 3 will be peak.
Fair. I think I watched 5 episodes of it. That sounds about right. I got to the point where they had the fucking grudge match in the club room or whatever.
That was
I don't even
episode
remember why it
4.
existed. Yeah, I don't even remember why it existed. But I watched that shit, and that was a good episode. And I think I watched one more, and it was just a classic PK. Doesn't continue the anime, but it doesn't drop it.
That's my thing. Bro.
I would say, what's it called?
I think I even have it marked as complete on my any list. That shit's cap.
Yeah, not like novel 1, which is episodes 1 through 4, is probably like the worst like I would say novel 1 is cringe, but it's like a foundational cringe. Novel 1 was cringe, so novel 9 could be peak type of thing. But yeah, I would say, I mean, fuck, if you're not that far into it, you might want to like at least start over.
It's like 4 episodes. I don't remember too much, because I think I was watching it seasonally with all of you guys because fucking everyone in our friend group was watching this shit weekly. And I think that's how I got caught behind, was seasonal, and then get busy, don't finish the seasonal.
Yeah.
But I don't know how it even happened. This series, just every one of our friends watching this shit and talking about it, to the point that this is like the Pips classic. It's Tomazaki.
Yeah, I wish more people were reading the novel because this just slaps. But season 2 will come eventually, and I can at least talk about that content. And then we'll have to hope season 3 comes from that as well. Which I don't know how many novels it is this shit.
Is it popular, like the anime? Does it like do well?
I'm pretty sure the novels are pretty like relatively popular. I don't know how well the anime did exactly, enough to get a season 2. Let's see. Here's the wiki. Light novels. Okay, there are 10, so I am caught up. The last one was released in January of last year. It's looking like it's been like a 1 a year pace for the most part, except for 2017, which went pretty fucking crazy with it, with like 3. But otherwise, it's been releasing like 1 a year, it looks like. But it's been very good. I'll be sad to be caught up, actually. I won't get spoiled, though. That'll be something.
Sure, can't get spoiled if you know everything.
Exactly.
Except for fucking, did I ever tell you about the One Piece opening that spoiled manga readers?
Wait, what?
No,
I don't remember exactly what it was. But fucking, there was a One Piece opening, I think it was 22, came out, and people were watching it because one of the fun things with One Piece openings is how much shit they spoil, right?
Mhm.
And it's fun to watch and be like, oh my god, they're showing that in the opening to all these anime onlys who have no idea what it means most of the time. But there was something. Oh, I do remember what it was. I'm not gonna say it also anyway, just because I dream that one day Daniel will watch One Piece, and I will keep his experience as pure as possible.
I won't be watching One Piece. I will read it when it finishes.
Well, yeah. doing the One Piece thing. Anyway, there's one thing that the fucking opening showed that had not been revealed in the manga yet. It was revealed like 2-3 weeks later. And it was the biggest One Piece opening meme about how spoily the openings get that it even spoiled the manga readers.
That's just stupid.
That is very funny.
It was so funny. I remember like visibly laughing when that happened. It just being like they've done it. They've transcended the meme.
I wonder if they did that on purpose.
I mean, it was like it wasn't a secret in the sense that like most people knew it was going to be what it was.
Yeah.
But they thought it wasn't a spoiler? I don't know.
It was so obvious that even they didn't think about it.
It was so obvious that they were just like, yeah, we can just show this shit.
Yeah, fair enough.
That would be a fair way to take it. It's just, it was so funny. Anyway, that was a little.
Yeah, I've never heard of that, but yeah.
I unlocked that memory and was like, I have to share this because I don't think we've talked about this.
That is very interesting. I actually do wonder, like, if you go back and like watch like openings of other shows, they spoil things in like mangas in their associated manga. I don't know. It probably happened more than you think. I don't know.
I think most openings spoil a lot more than the average anime viewer can like comprehend.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think most of the time it's not stuff that like the casual is even going to notice. This has been something I've said about a lot of openings that manga readers will watch it and be like, I can't believe they're showing all this shit. And then me and anime only will watch it and be like, I don't know what any of it means.
You and me and Mars were watching the Tony Kaku season 2 opening.
Yes, this was exactly the example I wanted to bring up. They were talking about Tony Kaku opening had so many spoilers and shit, and I watched it and I was like, that was a nice opening. I don't understand any of it. But
I guess if you haven't seen or consumed the associated media, then you wouldn't know. Yeah, sure.
Yeah. I still hold that it was wild that they were showing some of the stuff that they were, but I don't know. We'll see. If you even ever pick up on that. It's not even something like you might not even like pick up on anything, and then like eventually you like see it, and then you'll see the opening, you're like, oh.
I mean, I watch the opening every episode of every anime I see. So part of the fun is like as I progress through the season, seeing all those things and being like, oh, that's what that was. Or it's fun with characters sometimes because I don't really pay attention too much to characters that they'll show in the openings. But eventually I'll get like halfway through and I'll be like, was that character in the opening the whole time? And of course they were. But I don't know.
Yeah. I'm just thinking about like Pokemon openings. Like that's the easiest one. Like I'm pretty sure in the original one, like Ash, Brock, and Misty are all in the opening, and like you think, yeah, they are for sure, and like you don't see them in episode 1. So there you go. That's a spoiler. It's a spoiler for the manga, technically. A spoiler for the game, whatever.
Bro, yeah. Pokemon anime, newest episode. Well, not newest episode now, because I think the other one came out.
I haven't watched the latest.
No, it comes out tomorrow. So this shit, it's getting how do I put it? I made a joke about it because I watched the last episode, and it's gonna end up being a multi-episode arc. And I was joking about like, yeah, we're finally on to 2-episode arcs, guys. Let's go.
Because a lot of stuff has been resolved in like 1 episode so far.
That's like a very Pokemon anime thing because it just drops an episode every week, right?
Yeah.
So it's easier to have Pokemon of the week and then move on. But yeah, that comes out tomorrow. That'll be fun. Hopefully I can actually watch it tomorrow. It takes fucking 8 hours for it to get posted anywhere after it airs.
I feel like it takes a lot longer than that, because it technically airs in the morning, and then it takes all day to get subbed.
Long.
It do be taking a while. There'll be sometimes I'll just be up longer than I want to, and then I'll look and like see the episodes there. I'm like, oh, I guess I'm watching this now.
Yeah, I'll like so from here it basically says it's gonna air at like 6 a.m. right?
Yeah.
I might look tomorrow at 6 p.m., 12 hours after it's aired.
Bro,
And it
you don't
probably
wake up. You don't
won't
wake up for the release.
Absolutely not. I do not wake
I mean,
up.
it's not going to be there for the release is the thing.
Yeah.
For me, it's usually around like 10, 11 p.m. for what on the following day when it gets,
Yeah.
or not the following day, that night.
Something like 16 hours maybe.
Yeah, something like that.
And my seasonal list is looking so gross now because I had to add Saint Cecilia and Pastor Lawrence to my list.
It's cute so far. It's
It has
like,
a Claris opening.
I have a bit of a bias because it's the original Angel Next Door artist, but it's definitely nothing profound. But it's cute, and that's what matters.
It has a Claris opening, so
That's actually another case of the main girl. It's her first ever role.
interesting.
Yeah, I mean, maybe she's like played like Tree A or something in like something else, but her first notable role.
I love Claris now. I've added like 3 of their songs to my.
Join me.
Yeah, I added like 3 more of their songs to my Spotify playlist. They're awesome.
Did you see my Spotify Wrapped from last year?
Oh,
that's gonna be so hard to find. I was in 0.01% of Claris listening.
There you go.
Honestly, I thought it just stopped at 0.05 because it didn't feel like finding something that specific.
Yeah.
It's gonna be so hard to find. I'm not gonna find it during.
No, I believe you. It's
I want to send it to you though because it's hype.
Yeah,
but
it's
I'll find it. I'll find it later. And
I was listening to their music on Monday or Tuesday and added some, so they're good. Yeah,
freaking love Claris. Anyway,
forgot like what the song by them I really like. I really like the what is it, Madoka Magica opening, that one.
Which one?
What's the name of that song? It's like da 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 da.
I'm bad.
I forgot the name, but yeah.
I'm assuming you're talking about Connect.
Yeah, the Connect. Sure. Right. Yeah. I love that song. That's like, yeah, it's so good.
I like from Madoka. My favorite is probably Luminous, which is the second movie.
Mm-hmm. It's the opening for that, yeah.
Are like a couple of them, like the first 2 movies or something recap, or is it?
Yeah. So the way it works is you have the season, obviously. You have 3 movies. The first movie is a recap of the first 6 episodes. The second movie is a recap of the second 6 episodes. Third movie is new content.
Okay, it's like a Made in Abyss situation.
Yes. Now, I have not watched all of Madoka yet.
Yeah, when's movie 4 that recaps the movie?
There is a 4th movie coming eventually.
Eventually.
But I'm pretty sure that's been like announced and waiting for years. Like it was announced in 2021 and there's no release date or any news or anything. So
yeah, it's Studio Shaft. You're gonna have to wait a minute. You have to wait a minute. They're out here doing whatever the fuck. Yeah. They're doing that. They're just doing a whole lot of goofy shit.
Mm-hmm. So allegedly there will be another movie that I think continues the story. Yeah, it does continue the story, but who knows when that'll exist?
Yeah, because I mean, they haven't been doing a whole lot late. Like, I don't know. Shaft has kind of been. They did their 2017 was like their last decent year for the looks of it. Okay, never mind. 2019 they had another Monogatari, but that's like the last Monogatari they've done. So everything else they've done has been pretty poorly received.
I mean, they're doing a Zom 100.
Well, kind of. They're assisting on Zom 100.
I see.
Yeah.
I see. Now that I actually click and look.
Yeah, it's like from episode 3 onward, they'll be helping with production of it. Yeah, the weird, I don't know, them doing the fucking quintuplets special episode kind of came out of nowhere. Like, the episode itself came out of nowhere, then it's like Shaft is producing. It's like, wait, what? Like, what the fuck is Shaft doing it for? I don't know what like Beebury has their hands in right now, but
allegedly another Madoka movie one day. You should Spat also listen to the opening to the third movie, which is colorful.
Colorful. Okay.
That one's very good as well.
Check that one out then. Yeah.
oh, Beebury's got to do the 100 Girlfriends anime. It's like 2 cores or some shit. Like that's what they have.
I actually, by the way, have brain damage for knowing the names of the Madoka songs that go to each movie when I don't watch Madoka.
Why?
I don't know. I don't watch the series, so I think it's
Dude.
brain dead that I can just rattle off which song.
One of my favorite anime openings, probably my favorite, is the one of Sword Art Online by Lisa.
Is it just the
Crossing
first?
Field. Crossing Field. That's the name. Yeah.
Daring
I love
today,
that
aren't
song.
we?
Speaking of anime openings, I didn't realize when I was watching Vending Machine that the opening is done by Bradio, which is
Bradio?
Death
the Death
Parade.
Parade. The one that did Flyers,
It's
which
a
is
funky little OP for a goofy, goofy vending machine thing.
That's just such like I remember watching it and being like, oh, this is a good OP, kind of random, and then John had mentioned that it was by the same band that did Flyers, and I was like, no shit. I looked up and I was like, that's kind of fun. Anyway.
Yeah. I got nothing else, unless anyone has any,
No, nothing right now.
I just want to watch
satisfied.
Book here, but I've been catching up on so much shit since.
But you have to watch episode 3 of the vending.
Yeah, you have
Yes,
to watch a vending machine before anything.
No, that's the problem. We spent all the time in California, and now I basically started my season like 2 episodes behind on everything.
There you go.
And so I'm still in catch-up mode for all the seasonals.
Yeah.
That's why I'm glad I didn't give a shit about anything on day 2, so I could like just stay generally caught up. I
remember coming back to the hotel and being like, "Oh yeah, Daniel, you watched some of the seasonals. How were they?"
Yeah. Had a nice nap before that though, so I didn't watch any of the Mononogatari, and I'm now 3 episodes behind on that already. It's just I'm dreading going back to it. I don't want to watch it.
To me, this feels like how the Kizuno no Ai anime was, where it just keeps digging the hole deeper, and eventually you're gonna have to watch it because that's your creed. But also, I feel like you might dig the hole pretty deep before you're finally like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know. I watched the Kizuno Ai anime in like 3 separate binges. One was like the first few episodes, and then it was like the next like probably like 5, and then it was like the last 5. It was a painful experience that I never want to go through again, as I am allowing it to happen right now with Mononogatari. At least this will probably be like lightly more entertaining than fucking what's it called? The Kizuno Ai anime, but I don't know. It's an anime of all time. I need them to stop doing this shit with like the surprise second seasons that already exist in production or whatever. They just gotta do 1 core and just see how it goes. They ain't gotta keep making these.
I don't know. I don't disagree, but at the same time, I think when you're looking at the material and you decide, okay, if we want to really make like a good first season, we need more than 12 episodes. I think it's fair. That's kind of how I kind of felt Reincarnated as a Sword was, where the first season was good, but I could see a situation where the second season just like pops off, and then I'm like, okay, now I understand why this has 2 seasons.
Well, no, it's not that. That got a second season announced after the first, but it's not like already done type of thing, right? Mononogatari got a second season, but it's basically a split core.
Already,
It's a split core as opposed to like Reincarnated as a Sword's gonna have another season down the line. Like this was like a pre-planned thing. They were working on the second season without knowing the outcome of the first. And, you know, for most people, it's not a problem because they can drop the show if they don't like it. I'm stupid. And yeah, I'm stupid. And so I watch everything to the end, whether it's good for me or not. And then I end up in situations like these where they announce second seasons of the worst animes of all time. Like the Kizuna anime. That got a second season. I don't know how. I would have just... I don't care if it's been in production. I would have canceled that shit on the spot. There's no way. I don't know, dude.
There's a hidden fan base. You just don't know about them.
Yeah, this is gonna... The Kizuna thing starts... They thought they were gonna be good enough to have two halves of this shit. It makes sense why they took so damn long to introduce some of the characters, I guess, because they were like, oh, you know, we got the second half. It'll be fine. I don't know, dude. I'm not ready for part 2 because I don't want to watch it. Anyway, yeah. End of the episode. If you enjoyed, you should subscribe or follow whatever platform you're on. If you're on the audio only side of things, and you'd like to go to the YouTube, you can look up Is the Order an Anime Podcast on YouTube. It'll be the only thing there because no one else has that name, obviously. If you're on YouTube and you want to go to the audio only, you can look in the description of the video, and that will take you to the page that will have more links to all of our platforms, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, etc. If you are a thing, every Saturday, 3 p.m. BST episodes, they'll happen, probably. Come some shine or rain, unless it doesn't. So, thank you. I hope to see you in another episode.